What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday. That means we are live right here on the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. So happy that every single one of you is joining myself, producer Jack. We got a whole lot of great content lined up for you guys. We're going to start off with the new and the final Mel Kiper mock draft reaction. We are more than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. We're 16 days as of right now. Mel Kiper just said, you know what? I'm doing one more. I'm packing it in. Not us, right here. Not us. We're going to react to it, break down the first 2 rounds in that. It's a 2-round mock draft. Then I'm going to give you my full 7-round mock draft, 7.0. Not going to lie to you guys, this one is my spiciest yet. Make a couple of big moves. Make sure you stick around and hear that one. And then we're going to round this thing out like we always do. A live Ravens mailbag right here on the channels. Your questions, my answers, just like God intended it. Anything you want to know about the Baltimore Ravens, whether that's draft, trades, free agency, next season predictions, whatever you got, I'll try to answer to the best of my abilities right here live on the show. Before we get into any of it, let me know down below, with the national championship wrapping up last night in college basketball, congrats to the Florida Gators, even though I hate you. How did your bracket end up doing? Give me a B for bad. Give me a G for good down below. Mine ended up B for bad. It ended up pretty... Yeah, but like still, if you don't... Jack just said he doesn't have a producer mic, so you can't hear Jack today. He just said if you don't win your tournament, it's bad, which I don't necessarily agree with. Like, you could still have a fine bracket and not win your tournament. Mine was really bad. I got dead last in my family's bracket. There's 9 of us. I've got 3 sisters, 2 parents, 2 brother-in-laws, my wife in there, 9 people. I think I was dead last. Was not a good bracket for myself. Kennedy, my wife, ended up winning our family bracket. She took home some dough. She got 7 of the Elite 8, 3 of the Final 4. She nailed the championship game, and she nailed the winner. She was absolutely unreal. She was like 96th percentile or something like that. You didn't watch a single second of the game? Wow. It was a really good one. Monday Night Raw on the big TV. There we go. He had Monday Night Raw on the big TV. Both games on the small TV. I went big TV, March Madness. A little bit was Rangers on my phone. I shut that off quickly, though, because the Cubs were absolutely destroying them. Good to see everybody in here. We got Moggs, Cool Fire, Papa Shook, Lauren Mehemnovich. We got a lot of people in here, like Mr. Astro, Cool Fire, that haven't been here in a while. So great to see you guys today. Papa Shook already asking a question. Hashtag Ravens. Will D-Hop have over 1,000 yards this season? I don't think so. I'll answer that into a little bit more depth in just a little bit, but quick answer, no. Papa Shook also said G for good. He had a good bracket. Mr. Astro said, well, Joe, I'm going to watch something else. Where you got to go? We got all you can need right here. Make sure if you guys want to get on the show, just like our friend Papa Shook did, to use hashtag Ravens and ask me a question. The third and final segment of today's live show will be answering your questions right here on the Ravens Rundown. All you got to do is get in the comment section, ask a question, use hashtag Ravens. Has to be in the same comment as the question. Hashtag and Ravens has to be pushed together. And no ifs, ands, or buts about that. All that's got to happen so that way Jack can get it in the system. That way we can get up on the screen. That way I can give you my answers. Before we go on, you let me know down below. We've talked about it a little bit on the show. We talked about it last week. There's still been some rumors flying around on Twitter. Should the Ravens trade for Tyreek Hill? Type T for trade, type P for pass. Papa Shook says, Joey, my buddy Tom says hi. Tom, what's going on, my friend? Hey, make sure Tom comes and joins us next week. Tom, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Join us right here on the Ravens Rundown. Weekly live shows, videos every single day. We go live for all the games during the football season, and we don't abandon you in the offseason like some people do. We're still here every single day. And it's free. Thank you, Jack. Jack always is here to remind us that is 100% free. So make sure. Exactly. In this economy, we need. I did something dumb yesterday. I looked at my stocks. I looked at my portfolio. Yeah, I looked at my mutual fund, and let's just say it wasn't looking too good. And so, you know what? Ravens football. You know what stocks up is the Baltimore Ravens. CJ Stack says pass. Papa Shook says pass. I'm probably passing myself. Terrence Maynor says pass. A lot of people saying pass. Keep getting your comments down in there, 29 people. Also, if you guys want the Ravens to make a big move, let me know and like today's video. That could be a big move in the draft by trading up. That could be a big move by, going and trading for somebody big. Speaking of the draft, we put the poll out there. Edge rusher is far and away the highest vote, 40%. Cornerback is 25%, second highest. Safety is 22%, third. Other is 12%. But make sure you guys like the video. It doesn't cost you a dime. It does a ton for us. Really do appreciate every single one of you guys who support us in that way. A simple, quick, easy, free. Just hitting that thumbs up button does wonders. It does wonders. Boom! Tom subscribed. Thank you so much, Papa. Appreciate you for spreading the gospel, Tom. Welcome to the family. Happy you're here. Tony Brown typing P. Jimmy Carmichael typing P. SC, he's in the building. He's typing P. A lot of passes, no trades just yet. Nobody's loving Tyreek. No one wants the cheetah in Baltimore. It's okay, guys. I don't necessarily blame you guys either. All right, we got an awesome show planned for you guys. Yeah, I agree. Good call. Let's get to 20 likes. We're at 16 right now. We need 4 more likes. Once we get to 4 more likes, once we get to 20 overall, we're going to start with our show. And up first, like I teased in the beginning, we got a full new mock draft reaction, Mel Kiper's final one of the 2025 NFL offseason. We're going to be reacting to that, giving you my breakdown of the targets that he has Baltimore selecting in the first 2 rounds. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, that be happening. A very long time. Papa Shook says James Pearce at 27 would be great for us. Papa, I could not agree more. I really, really couldn't. Antonio Smith, hashtag Ravens. Which player in particular do you want the Ravens to draft? Personally, I hope he draft the guard from Alabama. I don't think he's going to fall that far. I just don't see Tyler Booker still being there at pick number 27. So I wouldn't necessarily hang my hat on that. I think that'd be a great selection. I think it would absolutely shore up this offensive line. But I'd be surprised if he was there at 27. I would love to draft James Pearce Jr., but I'll answer this question in fuller in just a little bit in our third segment. Real quick, says Jack. People can't hear me, but we're 2 weeks away from the draft. If you're excited for the draft, type me in the comment section down below. We are 2 weeks away. 16 days, ladies and gentlemen, until we've got the NFL draft. Our last kind of final hurrah before a few months of blah. Let's get excited for it. If you guys are excited for me, let me know in the comment section down below by typing those me's. I want to know who the real ones are that's rocking with me here right now. That's going to be rocking with us during the draft. Everybody, let me know how excited you are. We got Ravens Rundown, Jennifer Glassman, Tony Brown. Yaz is excited. We got Moggs. He's excited. Yaz, Jimmy, Papa, Kimberly. Kimberly, great question. You got to put hashtag and Ravens together. So just ask it for me one more time. Alrighty, keep liking the video. Keep getting down in the comment section. Jack, we ready to roll? Alrighty, Mel Kiper mock draft reaction coming at you right now. For some reason, just about 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, Mel Kiper Jr. is deciding to pack it in. This is his final mock draft of the 2025 NFL offseason. That's what we are reacting to today on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, every single one of you guys. This will be his 4th of the offseason. So far, in the 3 prior, he had the Baltimore Ravens selecting Siobhan Revel Jr., quarterback out of East Carolina, Nicky Manwari, safety out of South Carolina, Malaki Starks, safety out of the University of Georgia. Who he's going to pick in the fourth, you got to hang on just a little bit more. Because before we get into that and before I reveal that to you guys and break it down, make sure you guys hit that sub button, okay? Because this is going to be our fourth video reacting to Mel Kiper's mock drafts. We added 36 subs in the first one. Awesome. 19 subs in the second one. Not as great. 20, a little bit better. Today, I want to double last week's. I want to set the record for the last one of the offseason. I want 40 subscribers off of this video. If you guys have not joined us yet, we cover this team better than anyone else right here on this platform. Daily videos. We go live every single Tuesday. We're here through the entirety of the offseason, which is more than a lot of places can say. So lock us in right now. Help us break the record for these Mel Kiper reactions by hitting that sub button. All right, here we go. Round one. Pick number 27 overall. Mel Kiper Jr. as the Baltimore Ravens selecting Malaki Starks. Safety out of the University of Georgia. No, ladies and gentlemen, it is not a typo. Mel Kiper is double dipping with Malaki, and here's why. Starks does a little bit of everything on the back end. He can step up into the box and stop the run. He can drop over the slot in coverage. He can patrol center field with his closing speed. Baltimore was burned by big plays last season. 58 opponent plays went for 20 or more yards, third most in the National Football League. The Ravens tried a few different players at the safety spot next to Kyle Hamilton, and the midseason switch to Ardarius Washington helped. But Starks would be a real difference maker. This is a good roster with legit Super Bowl aspirations, and General Manager Eric DeCosta can't let chunk plays undo the team. Now, I know what you're saying, everybody. Joey, have you seen his relative athletic score? It's terrible. He tested awful. Well, yeah, I see it. I'm looking at it right now with every single one of you guys, and I see that 5.29 grade. But I truly believe that people are overreacting to Starks testing. I was talking today with a coworker, and we believe that a lot of time, people are so quick to throw out everything that happened from September to December and act like it doesn't matter anymore. And then suddenly they think that only anything that happened from January to March, that's the only thing that matters. When you were actually watching these guys play football in September to December, that's got nothing to do with it anymore. Just show me how fast you ran in your underwear. That's all that matters, right? No, it's not. Malaki Starks is a dog. And I'm not just saying that because he's a bulldog, but he got almost 200 tackles in his career there, 23 pass breakups, 6 interceptions, that's 77 tackles this past season in 2024. He's got so many great traits. And what I love about him is he's a little bit like a Kyle Hamilton. You know how Kyle Hamilton can kind of just fit anywhere and everywhere? It's the exact same thing with Malaki Starks. He's got the ability to play in the box, nickel, or deep. His speed and his athletic ability, they're there, okay? Even though it didn't test like it, they're there. You could see it on the football field. And what's great is he's willing to tackle despite being best at that free safety spot, okay? A lot of times if you're going to get, a safety that's not as physical as another one, it's usually your free safety, but he's still very, very willing to tackle and is a great tackler. He was more impactful in 2023, in my opinion. He took a little bit of a step back than his impact from one year to the other. I think that's kind of something that's a little bit of a red flag. There was an uptick in missed tackles over this last year with that step back. It wasn't anything egregious. It wasn't enough to knock him out of that first round, but still it's enough to notice. And he got beat far more often in coverage this year than he did the year prior, okay? So I think just kind of in general, 2024 was a little bit of step back from 2023 in all aspects. But you got to look at the safety room right now with Baltimore. When you're talking about picking a guy like Malaki Starks, when you're talking about picking anybody, you have to look at what is in this room right now. Kyle Hamilton's the best safety in the National Football League. Ardarius Washington was phenomenal when he came in and replaced Eddie Jackson, replaced Mykel Williams. But I think Malaki Starks is more of a forever option. Malaki Starks is more of a guy that, third down and long, you'd feel comfortable with him being back there in the backfield. Ardarius Washington is a fantastic run stopper. He's a phenomenal rush defender. But we all know that he has his warts when it comes to coverage. And I'm so thankful for what he did to this team and the way he shaped things. But also, how great would it be to have a guy like Darius Washington as a depth piece? Or hell, even a guy like Malaki Starks as a rotational player. And kind of rotate those two guys in and out. You would have the best back end in football. If Malaki Starks ends up how I think he's going to, with the combination of him and the combination of Kyle Hamilton, would it be absolutely lethal? So grade the pick for me in the comment section down below. Malaki Starks at 27, given an A, B, C, D, or F. You let me know your answer right now. I'm about to talk about our sponsor. That's our friends over at Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats and the lowest prices guaranteed. And Game Time is the official ticketing partner of the Ravens Rundown. What I love about Game Time is they provide the easiest way to get tickets on short notice. What I love about Game Time's low prices is you get to spend more money on hot dogs, pretzels, beer, and it's easier to get a larger group together if everyone's wallets don't take a hit getting into the ballpark. Game Time has an awesome feature. It's called Zone Deals. Game Time's Zone Deals allows customers to purchase tickets for a general area of a venue rather than specific seats, offering potential discounts and flexibility for last-minute ticket buyers. With Zone Deals comes the potential for lower prices. Zone Deals can offer discounts compared to standard ticket listings. Of course, Game Time is known for last-minute ticket sales, and Zone Deals can be particularly useful for those looking for deals closer to the event date. Another thing I love about Game Time, it is just so easy to use. Right? It's incredibly user-friendly. You see the events right there. You click on the one you want to go to. They give you the stadium overview. You can press that Game Time's picks buttons, which filters out all the seats, gets the fluff out of there, and just shows you the best deals. And then, in an instant, you are checking out. Don't forget to use our code ChatSports for $20 off. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. The link to this promo is in the comments and the description of today's video. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. So Malaki Starks is the first round selection. I'm not going to lie to you guys, this second round selection, I absolutely love it. Give me David Walker, edge rusher, out of Central Arkansas. And I know a lot of you guys right now are sitting there and they're saying, who the hell is David Walker? Well, it's probably because he went to Central Arkansas. And this one is a little bit of a surprise to me, but that doesn't mean I don't love it, okay? I think David Walker can be a really great player in this league. Mel Kiper agrees. He says, I'm a big fan of Walker's game. He jumps off the tape. With Kyle Van Noy and Odafe Oweh both entering final years of their deals, the Ravens might start looking to the future. Let's get you caught up on David Walker against FCS talent, which I admit is a massive step back from NFL talent, even from D1 talent. However, he was dominant. 69 tackles in 2024, 10.5 sacks, 55 pressures. He totaled 31 sacks in 3 seasons, 151 pressures in 3 seasons, 63 tackles for loss. He was virtually unblockable 1v1, as he should be. Okay, if you're a guy that's going to go from FCS to the NFL, you better be unblockable when you're blocked 1v1. And he was. And the cool thing about David Walker is that everybody wondered, what's he going to do when he gets to the Senior Bowl? What's he going to do when he goes against, Power 5 talent? Well, he showed everybody. Here's him winning, like he does so very often, in a bend, against one of the top left tackle targets at NC State. This rep was over in about 2.5 seconds. What's so great about Walker is that he doesn't just know how to win in one way. He could bull rush you as well. Just take you straight on, push you back, push you into the quarterback, and he might not get the sack, but he's going to force the ball out, probably going to force an incompletion. Let's talk a little bit more about Walker. Let you get to know him a little bit better. He's built very low to the ground. He's a little bit stocky in the legs, but the thing that does is just that gives him great leverage, right? A lot of times, defensive ends are built very tall, built very high. It's kind of easy to get under them, push them off their pass rush moves, and, kind of move on with your day. He's got an incredible bend that pairs well with his power. Like I said earlier, he can win in multiple ways, and he looked great at the Senior Bowl. 1 sack, that was the big question mark going into that week. Let's talk about the bad, though, because he's not a perfect prospect. Very few are. A huge competition jump is coming. Going from the NFL, going from FCS to the NFL is like going from private school football to Alabama. It's a massive jump. Now, I don't feel like that means he can't do it. It's going to be a big question mark. He's touched high on missed tackles for me as well, with 9 total over the season. And even though his frame is beneficial for him getting leverage on offensive tackles, it is a little bit unusual, right? Not very tall, just very stocky, built low to the ground. This would be a reach, in my opinion, in round 2. I think he's more of an mid-round 3 guy, a late day 2 guy. Round 2 is a little bit of a reach, but I don't mind it. You need to get better in this instance. You need to get better in your pass rush. And David Walker gives you a chance to do that. Let me know in the comment section down below. By being honest, would you pick Walker in round 2? Give me a yes. Give me a no. Let me know your answer right now. Before we get out of here, let's give a little bit of a wrap on all of Mel Kiper's mock drafts, because this is the final one. Siobhan Revel Jr., Nick Eamon-Warry, 2 Malaki Starks to round this thing out. So it tells you one thing. Mel Kiper Jr. has a pretty good indication that Baltimore is going secondary. I think Nick Eamon-Warry is going to be gone at pick number 27. I think Siobhan Revel Jr. is going to go more in the middle of the second round. Malaki Starks, that's going to be a coin flip. But Mel Kiper Jr. believes that Baltimore is looking at secondary, and I think that is a massive, massive need. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel before you get out of here. If you like the content, make sure to let us know by hitting that thumbs up button. And also make sure you join the family right now by hitting that subscribe button and joining us today. Alrighty, let me know down below, would you pick Walker in the second round? SC does not like the Malaki Starks pick. He's giving it a C. Yaml, what's going on? We need to replace Voorhees and Falele. Send them both to backups or practice squad. I don't know, ma'am. I would not want to send them to be backups or practice squad until we see who could come in to replace them, because there's a reason they started for the entirety of the year. An Arkansas edge rusher who isn't Landon Jackson is an F, but I'm biased. SC, are you an Arkansas fan? Are you a Hog fan? Let me know. Jennifer says go Ravens. Ravens76 More says this would be a great pick in the second round. Joe says #Ravens. How many Ravens starters right now do you see being Hall of Famers? Great question, Joe. We will get to that in the third segment. Let me do a quick count, though. 2, 3. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking 4. But I'll break it down further in the third segment. Jennifer says no to David Walker. Raven76 says B more. Keyshawn says yeah. Or Raven76 B more says yes. Keyshawn says yeah. Tony Brown says yes. Joe says yes. Lots of yeses. SC says no. Vern Ford says no. Yaml says no. SC says, well, a little bit of a fan, but trust me, my judgment isn't clouded. I grew up an Arkansas fan, SC. My dad graduated there in 1990. Grew up in Dallas, Texas, so we were about a 4.5-hour drive away from Fayetteville. So found myself in hog country quite a bit growing up. Make sure if you guys want to get on the show and you guys want to be like Joe, you guys noticing my flow? Oh, sorry, Jack. That I had to do it. Make sure you use #Ravens to ask any questions you want and get them on the show in our third segment. Like Core just has a great question. Is Desmond Watson a realistic pickup since Pearce retired? Great question, Core. Just go ahead and use #Ravens, re-ask it, and you'll be able to get your question on the show. There she goes, or he goes. Retracted it. Hopefully you're asking it again and using #Ravens. We got some awesome questions so far. We need a little bit more. We're about to go into our second cut. And while we're in there, make sure you guys get those questions down below, so that way we can be ready to roll once we get finished with the second cut going into the third. Yamel says Xavier Watts is a good safety pick if Starks is gone. I agree. I actually like Xavier Watts more than Nick Ebenworry. Nick Ebenworry's film underwhelms me a little bit. I think he is an insane athlete, but I think there's a little bit more bust than boom there. Great question, Core. Trade it for Will Johnson the first, Xavier Watts in the second, said MVP boys. I'd be so happy with that, man. Just get, I think edge rusher is the biggest need, but if they went cornerback to safety and they just dealt with the secondary in the first round of the draft, I'd be a happy guy. Are we sweating A-Rod going to Pittsburgh? Great question, Moggs. I'm not. I'll tell you why in segment number 3. Alrighty, we're about to get into my mock draft, all 7 rounds. It's not going to be 11 picks because I made some trades. Make sure you guys stick with us. Jack, are we ready to roll? Alrighty, we are ready to roll. So my 7th mock draft of the offseason is coming at you right now. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to make some spicy trades in this mock draft because I think the Baltimore Ravens should be looking at it as a draft to trade up. I got 3 reasons that they should trade up. Number 1, the Ravens have 11 draft picks, okay? And then you look at number 2, they only have a few spots that need starters. It's an incredibly deep team right now. John Harbaugh just said about a week and a half ago, he believes this team can go out and play right now. So you don't need that many starters. You only have to fill a few holes. And then point number 3, I'm just going to go back to point number 1 and tell you we have 11 freaking draft picks. That's a lot. 2 4th rounders, 4th in the 6th round. You know what I see when I see those selections? I see trade assets to move up, to go make a splash, and to get a little bit of better talent in the 1st and the 2nd round. Before I break down all of my selections and let you know what I'm doing as Eric DeCosta in today's mock draft, make sure you guys like the video, okay? The last Ravens mock, we only got 143 likes. Today, I want to get over 100 more, and I want 250. Okay, I'm going to be greedy. I want 250. Need you guys to help me out. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It's free to do. Helps us out a ton. And hey, we got to get better every single week. Help me out right now and like the video. So my first big move up is with the Seattle Seahawks. The Ravens will receive the 18th overall selection, and they'll move up 9 spots and trade picks with Seattle, number 27, and then offer their 3rd round selection at pick number 91. Why'd they do all that, Joey? Well, because Mike Green was available. The edge rusher out of Marshall. And man, guys, I know I've picked Mike Green in a mock draft before. I just can't help myself when he's available at this point of the draft because he is my dream draft pick for Baltimore. I think there's some small chance he falls down to number 27. There's been a little bit of character concerns, but I wouldn't bet on it. And so if you want to get a guy like Mike Green, who I believe can be a game-changing edge rusher in year 1, you have to give up something to get him. Let's talk a little bit more about him. There's some questions about how he would have held up against the run. He had very little issues against the Senior Bowl. You know, when you're going from the talent jump of who he played in Marshall to the National Football League, that's a really big jump. So there's some questions, and he gave some answers. He was one of the biggest risers in all of college football this past year, had an absolutely dominant season in 2024. And the thing I love about Mike Green is a lot of time we talk about impressive athletes when we talk about the draft, right? Shamar Turner is a perfect example. But they don't necessarily have the production. Mike Green does. 17 sacks in 13 games in 2024. 81 tackles. Almost 60 pressures. 3 forced fumbles to put on top of that. I mean, this dude was a living, breathing highlight reel for the Marshall Thundering Herd. And then he goes to the Senior Bowl, and he absolutely bull rushes over Josh Connolly Jr., which is a guy who's going to go late 1st, early 2nd round. This dude is going to be a star. He's athletic. He's strong. He's got the ceiling. He's got everything. So if he's there at 18, I'm making the move up with Seattle to get him. Grade it for me. Down below. Grade the pick of Mike Green. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know your answer in the comment section right now. I got a second big move up for the Baltimore Ravens, this time with the Denver Broncos, jumping up from pick number 59, 8 spots to pick number 51, and giving them 2 6-rounders in the process. Because this team needs cornerback, right? Guess who's still there at 51? That's Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback out of Kentucky. There's a lot of questions on whether he's a guy that's going to go in the first, whether he's a guy that's going to go in the second. Well, in this mock draft, he was available at 51. I moved up. I snagged him. Let's talk some pros, okay? He's got really long arms. He's great in man or zone. He's really, really versatile. His ball skills are next level. He's got incredibly fluid hips, great movements, and he's really, really fast as well, which obviously is going to benefit him at the next level. His functional strength can, use a little bit of work. His press technique can use a little bit of work as well, and that's why I think he goes to a round 2 grade. I think he's a guy who can be a starter in year 1. Right now, this depth chart is looking like Chidobe Awuzie or TJ Tampa for a starting role. Maxwell Hairston comes in, joins that competition. I think he can win it. He tested out of the charts at the combine, 9.60 relative athletic score. His 40-yard dash was a 4.28, was in the 9.99 range. His vertical jump was almost 40 inches. His broad jump was a little bit over 10 feet. This dude's a freak, okay? And if you get him in this cornerback room with a Marlon Humphrey, with a Nate Wiggins, I know those are 2 really young guys in Nate and Maxwell. I think they could be the future of the secondary for this team. Let's get wide receiver in round 4. Remember, you dealt your round 3 selection. Give me Torrey Horton, wide receiver out of Colorado State, pick number 129. Horton had a shortened season in 2024 due to an injury, but he still amassed 353 yards in 6 games. It's 2 years prior. Over 1,100 yards in each, 167 combined catches in each, 16 combined touchdowns. He is a baller. And I think he's one of those guys who's going to be a mid-round steal. I think he's one of those guys that's in a couple years, you look back and just say, how did he fall to the 4th round? He's really special. If he didn't get injured, I think he would have been a 2nd or early 3rd round draft pick, but he did. I'm taking the chance at him on pick number 129. Let's stay in the 4th round, shall we? Savion Jones, edge rusher out of LSU, pick number 136. This is a guy who's not getting a lot of talk, okay? Now, he was on the same team as Braden Swinson, who tested a little bit better, had a little bit better statistics out of LSU this past year, but I still think he can be a star in this league. Now, I don't see him as a Mike Green type. I don't see him as a year 1, comes in and absolutely dominates, but I see him as a guy who, after maybe a year or so of, learning how the NFL works, sitting behind some really good talent, Kyle Van Noy and Odafe Oweh, he develops into a really, really solid player. 4.5 sacks, 43 pressures in 13 games. Also 2 pass breakups. Always very nice for those big boys to get their hands up. So coming up, I got the final 4 selections in this draft. Stick around. There's some really good ones. I don't want to be biased, but hey, I'm the one who made them. Before that, if you guys want to make a good selection, go ahead and select our friends over at Prize Picks, because springtime is here and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash today. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. So join over 10 million users and sign up today. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports. Combine your favorite baseball players with players from basketball, hockey, esports, and much more. I don't know if baseball is something that floats your boat. It's something that floats mine, and I've been doing my projections for the entire season. I got the more on Paul Skeens strikeouts, same as Tarek Skubal as well. Give me Jaron Duran, 7.5 triples more. Jack, how are we doing on that one? He's got 1 so far. So, hey, 162-game season. We got a long way to go. And then Shohei Ohtani, 27.5 stolen bases. Give me the more on that as well. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. Let's get some help in the linebacker room, shall we? Give me Danny Stutzman, linebacker out of the University of Oklahoma. This dude is a tackling machine. 109 in 12 games, almost 10 tackles a game, 8 tackles for loss, a sack, and 13 pressures. I like Stutzman enough to take the gamble right here in the 5th round. I do worry about him a tad in coverage, but I think he's an absolute beast. Now, is he a guy that I want on the field necessarily the same time as a Roquan Smith? Kind of two, I don't want to say lapses in coverage with those guys, but still, I think Stutzman is a guy who can come in here, give this linebacker room incredible depth. I think he's going to be a great run stopper and a guy you want to put in there on obvious rushing downs in this next season. Let's stick around in round 6, pick number 203. Give me Zeke Biggers, defensive lineman out of Georgia Tech, and emphasis on the name because this dude is absolutely massive, over 300 pounds. And Biggers can just offer you strong depth at the interior of the defensive line. Nothing more, nothing less. I think it's a lot of what these round 6 picks kind of are in the draft. Sure, you can hit on some round 6 guys, and they're going to give you a lot of really great years and might start for a lot of those really great years. But more often than not, these guys are just depth guys to round out your roster, and this front 5 needs it. Travis Jones, Broderick Washington, Nnamdi Madubuike, those guys on the interior, everybody's confident in them, but it's past them. There's nobody right now. Zeke Biggers can be that guy. He can be that Mykel Pierce replacement, as we know. Mykel Pierce is retiring, no longer on this team. Zeke Biggers could come in and be that guy. So show me down below by hitting that thumbs up button. Do you think this D-line needs depth? If you think they do, go ahead and like the video. I think it. Curious if you guys feel the same way. The third and final 6th-round pick of this mock draft, Jake Majors, offensive lineman out of the University of Texas, pick number 210. This is a guy who played pretty much his entire career, and not pretty much about it, his entire career at the center position. Obviously, Tyler Linderbaum is in this system. I think he's a guy that shifts over to guard, either on the right or left side, and I think he can be a starter in year 2. I really do. What I love about him is that he's got so many snaps and so much depth and so much just life under his belt. 1,000 in 2024, 908 in 2023, 860 and 792 in 2022 and 2021. When Coach Sark wanted to change the culture of Texas, he did it by changing the way he recruited in the trenches, and the offensive line, the defensive line. That started with Jake Majors in 2020, and he's been there to see it all the way through. I think he'd be a great selection in round 6. Let's round this one out with a little bit of a flyer. Ventrell Cypress II, cornerback out of Florida State, pick number 243. And I said it off the top, but Cypress is just one of those guys who is the quintessential picture, the poster child, if you will, of a 7th-round flyer. He's a guy who tested very, very well. He's got some skills that are kind of off the charts. He's really fast, ran a 4.43 40 time, had a great 3-cone speed of 6.84, pretty solid vertical of 38 inches. But the production wasn't necessarily there in Florida State. So you hope he's a guy that could come in this room, under the tutelage of a guy like Marlon Humphrey, really turn into something special for this team and be a good depth piece for this secondary. Rate this mock draft for me. Scale 1 to 10 in the comment section down below. 1, it sucked. 10, it was perfect. You let me know your answer right now. As always, do appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in, watching these mock drafts. I love doing them. I'm going to be so sad when the draft is over in about a week and 4 or 5 days. I cannot wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun, but man, these will end for me, which is a bummer. Make sure you guys subscribe. Join us for the best coverage you're going to find right here on YouTube. Alrighty. There it is, ladies and gents. The 7th mock draft of the offseason. Kimberly gives it a 10. Tony gives it an A. Joe gives it a 7.9. Papa Shook says, with the last pick of QB, get Leary out of here. Yeah, SC, we got Cooper Rush, my friend. Papa Shook says 8.8. Best in the North. That's a good thought, my friend. How do you feel about us trading with Minnesota? They have 24 and like 3 more picks. You're not wrong, my friend. You are not wrong. I don't know if trading up to 24 would give them, you wouldn't give them 3 more picks. Maybe 2 6-rounders. Maybe your 5th. I don't know. Moving up just 4 picks. I don't think it'd be that much. Joshua said mine was D for don't care. Damn. Joe says, I think instead of Horton, they should take Ty Felton from Maryland, just because he's from Maryland. Ty Felton, I think, is going to be a stud. I think that Ty Felton is more of a, he's a very, very similar kind of wide receiver to Zay Flowers, and that's what I love about Horton. Is Horton's 6'3", 5 inches taller than Zay. And just kind of a different look in that wide receiver room because they got a lot of the same kind of guys now. Similar sizes, similar playing styles, all of that jazz. Jack, how are we doing on questions? Okay. Let's get 2 more questions on today's live show. Make sure that you guys use hashtag Ravens in the comment section down below. If you have any questions for me, we're going to get them on the show. We're going to answer them right here live for every single one of you guys. This is your time to join us right here on the Ravens Rundown. Get your name, get your picture, get everything on screen. Of course, I get to answer your question in the process. So any questions can be about free agency, can be about any past additions, can be about the future in 2025, contract extensions, trades, rumors, draft stuff, like anything you got, I will answer to the best of my abilities right here on the show. We got good enough questions. Great question, SC. We need one more. One more question, and then we will go ahead and get into our mailbag segment. Best in the North says, I feel like cornerback and edge kind of fall off in this draft, so we may need them early. They do. Edge is definitely more, a little bit more depth than, edge is definitely deeper than cornerback is. Cornerback is like after the first 2 rounds, you're really not going to find anybody good at all. You can still get some good edge rushers. You can still get some good edge rushers in round 3 or round 4. There's Yaml with his question. And with that, Mr. Jack, I think we are good to go. Y'all can keep asking questions while we are in the cut. We get to answer them. And so keep asking. If it's good enough, we'll put it on the show. All righty, you ready to roll? All righty. We got our mock draft coming at you right now. I got a little challenge for the flock before we get into today's mailbag. Who can comment the most on today's show? Whoever does it, we'll get a shout out on Tuesday's live show. So if you want a shout out, if you want to prove you're the best watcher of the Ravens Rundown, best viewer that we've got, get down in the comment section. Who can comment the most? Do it right now. Welcome into the program, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joey Petersen. You are watching the Ravens Rundown mailbag. And on today's show, I take a look at your Ravens questions and I turn them into answers. My favorite show to do every single week. Love hearing from you guys. Love getting to answer y'all's questions. And you know what? Flex the Ravens muscles just a little bit. First one comes from one of the real ones. Kimberly Harmon. Who the best players and player past and present? Okay. Present, easy, Lamar Jackson. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Lamar Jackson will go on the Mount Rushmore of Baltimore Ravens one day. No matter what you think about him, no matter if he wins a Super Bowl or not, I know that's hard to believe. I think he's a Mount Rushmore player. I think Kyle Hamilton is going to end his days as one of the best players in this franchise as well, if you can keep him here. He is so dynamic. I can't say enough good stuff about Kyle Hamilton. In the past, obviously, Ed Reed comes to mind. Ray Lewis comes to mind. Joe Flacco got it done in the most important moments in the postseason. Those 3 guys come to mind. But it's mainly just those first 2. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Lamar Jackson, and then maybe Flacco for that third on that Mount Rushmore. But you can't argue with Reed and with Lewis. Next up, Papa Shook. He says, will D-Hop have over 1,000 yards this season? I don't think so, Papa. Let me go to his stats over the last couple of years. He hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since 2023, so it's just 1 year removed, which isn't that crazy. But I just think the way this offense operates, the way that Lamar runs the football, the way that this team runs the football with Derrick Henry just in general, the weapons that you have in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely and Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, it's like there's only so many yards that can go around. I would be very surprised if DeAndre Hopkins has over 1,000 this next season. I think he's going to be a great addition. I think none of us are going to be upset with paying him $5 million, but 1,000 yards, that's a lot. I don't necessarily think that he gets there. Antonio Smith, we got him saying, which player in particular do you want the Ravens to draft? Personally, I hope we draft the guard from Alabama. I don't think Tyler Booker is going to make it to number 27, Antonio. If he does, I think that'd be great. I think in my dream scenario, Mike Green is a Baltimore Raven at the end of the day, either by Baltimore, trading up and making a move for him, or by him sliding down to number 20, which seems a little unlikely. Jahdae Barron is another guy I think is going to be an absolute star, the cornerback out of Texas. I think Mike Green, Jahdae Barron, James Pearce Jr. are my 3 top targets. Speaking of Mike Green, let's talk to another Green. How about Marshall Green? Saying, should the Ravens trade for Tyreek Hill? As we know, we've talked about it on this channel before, a Tyreek trade. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he gets dealt. It's a little less likely that it is to Baltimore. I think that Baltimore is happy with where they are right now. I don't think they're going to make any big splashes in the next couple of months for multiple reasons. They don't have the money to, and they're about to have to pay 4 of their pretty big players. Tyler Linderbaum, Kyle Hamilton, Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry, 4 guys I would not be surprised to see get extensions. I don't think they're going to take the gamble on a guy like Tyreek, especially when he has the contract that he does. Now, Tyreek leaving Miami wouldn't be that crazy of a thing. Recently, a couple weeks ago on social media, tweeted out a couple of peace signs to some trade tweets. There's always a lot of drama going on there. I just don't think that Baltimore is going to be the next team in line for that drama. But you tell me down below, should the Ravens trade for Tyreek Hill? If you think yes, go ahead, give me a T for trade. If you think no, go ahead, give me a P for pass. Let me know your answer in the comment section. Up next, we got my main man, Joe. What's up, Joe? Great name. How many Ravens starters right now do you see being Hall of Famers? Fantastic question. So, 2 undoubtedly. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry will be Hall of Famers. Not one single doubt in my mind. Another guy I think could get there is Tyler Linderbaum. If he keeps putting together as impressive seasons as he has over the past couple of years, and he's incredibly consistent as he has been, and he has a really long career, I could see him one day being a Hall of Famer. Another guy is, Kyle Hamilton. Sorry, blanking out his name. Kyle Hamilton is another guy I see being a Hall of Famer one day. I think he's the best safety in football. Just had over 100 tackles this past year, like 13 pass breakups. Dude's an absolute beast. If he can stay healthy and if he can put together another good 5, 6, 7 years of his career, maybe a little bit longer, I could see him. So that's 4. I don't think Zay Flowers will be, although I think he's going to be a good player. I don't think Roquan Smith will be, although I think he's going to be a good player. You got to remember, this is Hall of Fame. This isn't just, we'll retire and have a great NFL career. This is the best of the best. I think you got 2 definites, 2 maybes, and that's where I got right now. Up next, we got Core. Is Desmond Watson a realistic pickup since Pierce retired? That's a good question. I don't think so. I don't really want to touch Desmond Watson. That's a guy who, he's not going to be able to see the field much at all. He wasn't really at Florida. If you guys don't know who Desmond Watson is, he is under 400 pounds, Jack? Like 390, something like that. It's just absolutely massive defensive lineman from the University of Florida. I have higher graded interior defensive lineman than Desmond Watson. Let me just put it that way. But I don't necessarily think it's incredibly realistic. You know what is realistic? Getting a great deal with our friends over at Game Time. Game Time is the proud sponsor of today's video. They are the official ticketing partner of the Ravens Rundown, and the best seats, lowest prices guaranteed. What I love about Game Time is that they provide the easiest way to get tickets on short notice. Game Time's low prices get you to spend more money on hot dogs, pretzels, beer, cotton candy, anything you want at a game, and it's so much easier to get a larger group of friends or family together if everyone's wallets don't take a hit getting into the ballpark. Game Time has an awesome feature. It's called Zone Deals. Game Time Zone Deals allow customers to purchase tickets for a general area of a venue rather than specific seats, offering potential discounts and flexibility for last-minute ticket buyers. With Zone Deals comes the potential for lower prices. Zone Deals can offer discounts compared to standard ticket listings, of course. Game Time is known for their last-minute ticket sales, and Zone Deals can be particularly useful for those looking for deals closer to the event. What I also love about Game Time is they got an awesome button. It's called Game Time Picks, and when you get the stadium overview, when you click into an event. You hit that Game Time Picks button right at the top of your screen in that middle picture, and that will filter out all the fluff, show you only the best deals, the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Like, you get the super deals. You don't want to pass up on a super deal, ladies and gentlemen. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is Game Time. Moggs with a great question says, are we sweating A-Rod to Pittsburgh? Quick answer, Moggs, is no. Now, I do think he's going to be a massive step up from Russell Wilson. I don't want to say massive step up. I don't think he's going to be a step up for what Russ was. And I don't think Russ was necessarily that terrible. I think their play calling was really bad. I think their offensive line was really bad. And that's mainly why I'm not sweating A-Rod, because they still have the same play caller, and they got worse on the offensive line, actually. They lost their starting left tackle, Dan Moore Jr., because he just went and got a bag from, I believe it was Jacksonville. And so I'm not necessarily sweating it as long as Arthur Smith's still calling plays, as long as you can get to the quarterback within 2 seconds like you can against the offensive line. I think A-Rod's going to struggle a little bit. Now, again, I do think he's going to be a bit of a step up, but I'm not necessarily saying, you know what, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm more shaking in my boots of their additions of Darius Slay and DK Metcalf. Those are far bigger, in my opinion. SC saying, what's your sleeper draft pick? Great question, SC. I really, really like David Walker, Central Arkansas edge rusher. I think that he's going to be a star one day. I think he's an early third-round selection. If Baltimore, reached in the late second round, be a little bit high for me, but I still think that he can turn into something really, really special. Antoine Powell-Ryland, edge rusher out of Virginia Tech, had 17 sacks this last season. I think he's probably my number one. Another guy to look for is Efton Chisholm, wide receiver out of Eastern Washington. He's a really interesting prospect to me. I think he could be really good as a kind of just slot option in the NFL. Yamil PR saying, do you think Ravens take Tyler Booker if he's available at 27? I think it depends on who else is available. Like, if they have better corners or better edge rushers, I think they take those guys. But also, we know how high this team is and this front office is on just taking the best player available. And Tyler Booker, if he falls to 27, most likely will be that best player available. We all know that guard is also a question mark. Daniel Fa'alele, he had a fine season. Andrew Voorhees played fine those 2 games before he got hurt, 3 games, but then really never played again. You lost Patrick McCarry. You could shore up some of the guard, kind of, make that one of the best offensive lines in football, in my opinion, if they had a guy like Tyler Booker. Kyler Richards. As your Ravens, I think we should trade up with Seahawks to get James Pearce Jr. Kyler, I don't think James Pearce Jr. will not be available at 27. Let me put it like that. I would not be surprised if you don't have to trade up and you could still select him. I think people are really scared of his character issues. I'm not necessarily. Other people are. And I think you can kind of just sit at 27. And if you do want to move up to get him, I don't think you have to move all the way up to 18. I think you'd have to move somewhere like 24, 23, 25, kind of somewhere in that range. I think he's going to be a star. I think his athletic potential is out of this world. And I would love if he's a Baltimore Raven at the end of the day on April 24th. Joe, another great name, same person, great name. Do you think the Ravens' playoff struggles have to do more with coaching or players? Interesting. This is a hard one because you don't get close in that game without Lamar Jackson. But also, Lamar Jackson had some pretty key turnovers. Mark Andrews had some pretty key turnovers. I think this last playoff loss, if I'm being 100% honest with you, is on players. It's not on the coaches. Now, I think the theme of them over the past few years probably is a coaching issue at the heart of it. But when I look at that game against Buffalo, I don't blame John Harbaugh. I don't blame Todd Monken. I don't blame Zach Orr. I think that one's a little bit more of the players than on the staff. We got our final question of the day. This one coming from Chuggin Jim. Any update on a Trayvon Walker trade? I do have an update, Chuggin Jim. It's not a great one. Unfortunately, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they announced just the other day that they are exercising the 5th-year option on defensive end Trayvon Walker. And so that means that they most likely will not be trading him. So, unfortunately, as much as we loved it, as much as I love talking about it, most likely he's not going to be a Baltimore Raven, although I thought he would have fit perfectly in this defense. Let me know down below, how surprised are you that Trayvon Walker won't be a Raven? What's your surprise level? Scale of 1 to 100. I'm sitting at like a 5. I never really expected it. I just always thought it would be a great addition. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button before you get on out of here. As always, do appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us right here on the Ravens Rundown. Lock us in right now. We'll see you next time. Let me know down below. There's the mailbag, ladies and gentlemen, and there is our live show. Should the Ravens trade for Tyreek Hill? Give me a T for trade. Give me a P for pass, and let me know your answer. Earlier, we had a lot of P's for passing. Curious to see if things have changed. Mock said 2 years ago was coaching. This past year was the players. I agree. I'm still wondering why Andrews is on this team, says Yamel. Yeah, I thought they were going to move on from him, especially after Eric DeCosta spoke at the NFL Scouting Combine, but they didn't. Okay, we're about to get on out of here. We got 44 likes. I would love to get to 50 before we exit. We are 6 likes away. We got 24 of you guys in here. Before you get out of here, do me one big favor. Do me one big solid. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button and like today's stream. Try to get us to 50. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys who have, stuck with us, been hanging out with us for the entirety of the offseason. I know there's not a ton to talk about. This team doesn't make a lot of moves. They, don't really do any kind of big signings. Pick number 27 in the draft. There's not a ton to discuss, not a ton to be excited about. It's pretty much going to be the same roster. But you guys are locked in with me every Tuesday, and for that, I'm very appreciative. Kyler says, I'm more interested in Garrett Wilson. Me too, Kyler. I think Garrett Wilson could be the future at a wide receiver 1 position for this team. I think he's an absolute stud. Jack, any thoughts on the mock draft or anything? I know you don't have a mic. Thank you, Jack. Jack said everything I do is incredible. I should be the GM of the Ravens. I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Jack. In a hypothetical situation, how much do you think it costs to trade up for Abdul Carter? 27? 2? Yeah, you'd have to go from 27 to 2 or 3. So that's going to cost you this year's first rounder, next year's first rounder. Yeah, you're right. Probably the first rounder after that as well. Maybe this year's second rounder and possibly a small player. It would take a lot. You're moving up 25 draft spots. Yeah, for potential generational measures. They're not going to do it. Mog says too much. I agree, but that's a great question. I like the hypothetical. Okay, we're going to get on out of here. Appreciate every single one of you guys for joining us. I love these Tuesdays. Love getting to hang out with you guys for a good hour-long, just kind of chop it up, talk ball session. It's always a good time. Shout out to producer Jack. For him, myself, I'm Joey Petersen. We'll see you next time. God bless.